Hey everybody, today we are in Fort Myers, Florida. Actually, we're down, not on the beachfront, we're on the riverfront. You can see some of the boats behind us. And in this video today, we're going to talk about some of the biggest mistakes people make whenever they're moving to Fort Myers, Florida, or anywhere in Southwest Florida. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton.
I'm Josh Cowan, local real estate agent here in Southwest Florida.
Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Fort Myers, Florida, or anywhere in Southwest Florida, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Also tap the little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now we have people reaching out to us from all over the country with questions about Fort Myers, anywhere in Southwest Florida. So if you have questions at all about any place in Southwest Florida and are thinking of moving here, then make sure you reach out. We always have your back with those questions, and we'll certainly have your back whenever it comes time for you to make your move to Fort Myers or anywhere in Southwest Florida. So again, in this video today, we're talking about Fort Myers and the biggest mistakes that people make when moving to a place like Fort Myers. So if you're moving from across the country, or let's say even within Florida to Fort Myers, there are definitely some common mistakes that people make. And of course, when you're making a big move, especially across the country, you want to try to avoid as many mistakes as possible.
Right.
And they could be financial mistakes, they could be emotional mistakes, definitely. So all of those things play in, and you want to make it as smooth as possible. So see, these are just some of the common things I'd say you need to try to avoid whenever you're making your move. So the first one, Fort Myers, is not researching the area. So if you've been to Southwest Florida, or Fort Myers, let's say, it might be the only place that you know. I know when I was growing up, took vacations to Fort Myers, Florida occasionally, and the beach was just about all I knew. And Fort Myers, Florida, that address was about all I knew. But obviously it's not all that's here, right?
Right, definitely. You need to, do your research. Don't just go off of your couple-day experience that you came down here, had a great time. The whole time you're down here doing different activities every single day. There's a lot more that goes into moving somewhere when you're not actually going for vacation. And a big part of that can be done, just doing research prior to coming here. And then on top of that, visiting, visit Fort Myers, not just once, but a couple times to actually check out the areas. I recommend visit, if you're going to come here twice, try to spread it out. That way you can get here in the middle of the summer and then also come here in the middle of the winter.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the summer it's warm in Southwest Florida pretty much all year long. I think most people know that. But when we say warm, I mean it's warm in the winter. Yep. It's really freaking hot in the summer. So it's a stark contrast. And then also the activities are different in the summer versus the winter in Fort Myers, right?
Right. Yeah, you'll see, a big difference between some of the locals here in Fort Myers that come that summertime. They just kind of stay at home a lot, stay in the AC, or when they do go out, they're not outside eating on the patios because, they're used to that hot weather and they'd rather enjoy the AC. And that's just part of living here. You're not coming from a cold area and trying to sit here and capitalize on super hot weather every single day.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then just some of the general activities of the things going on in Fort Myers during the middle of the summer when it's at its hottest. There's still things that are happening, but a lot of your farmers markets, they'll still happen, but they may grow a little bit, or art fairs, or a lot of outdoor festivals. They don't happen in July typically. They'll happen kind of in those winter months when it's a lot more comfortable.
Right. Yeah, it definitely gets a little bit cooler as the season goes into fall, rolling into winter. You're talking around the 70s, which definitely sounds hot to some, but it's
pretty nice.
Yeah, it's definitely great weather, great time to have all these activities. You're over here, them can be close to the water side of Fort Myers, so you get a nice little breeze coming in for that fall, winter activities outside.
Absolutely, yeah. So researching the area and then visiting more than once. So instead of just that vacation, like you said, you're a couple days here, gives you a different impression also of what Fort Myers is like. So if you've gone to Sanibel or Fort Myers Beach or any place like that, that's a really different lifestyle than what you have in the rest of Fort Myers. And then just Fort Myers, period. That's not the only place here, so it may not necessarily be the city for you. You might want to live in Cape Coral or down in Naples or someplace just outside of Fort Myers, and there are a lot of opportunities to do that. So you do have other places like north with BOBCOCK Ranch. You can get to ALVA, which would be a little bit more rural outside of Fort Myers, so not quite city living, like Fort Myers might be, or you can go to the south with Bonita Springs,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you have Bonita Springs over there, and then just a little bit further south of that is Naples. And then if you wanted to get a little bit further away from the coast, out on the further east inland, you have Ave Maria, which is another city that is kind of growing out there.
Yeah, a little up and coming. So a lot of options just outside of Fort Myers, and that may have been your only experience with Southwest Florida, but you do have some other places that you could consider. So doing your research on some of those places would be best, and then of course making your visit in different seasons just to get a feel for what each place is really like during the summer, maybe the peak of the summer, and also the peak of the winter, just to get a feel for how everything's going. All right, then obviously too, with that weather in certain parts of the year, you have hurricane season. So when you get to the fall, and this video right now is being shot in the fall, so we're in hurricane season right now, and if you're moving to Southwest Florida, hurricanes, I wouldn't say it's a way of life, but you can expect them to happen. It's absolutely a fact.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that you need to be aware of and you need to look into. You know, it not only can impact, you know, just your living, the location, you know, if you're sitting here keeping that in mind as far as hurricanes. Even down here, hurricanes can impact financially, just, you know, the things that you put into your house, impact windows and different structures like that. Or you even have your homeowner's insurance, depending on your location, where it's at, your homeowner's insurance might be higher just because of the risk of a hurricane.
Right.
You know, we're not talking that hurricanes sit here and hit every single year, as you might know, but you know, we are here in Southwest Florida. Yeah, large body of water next to us. Since mid 1800s, there's probably been about 50 hurricanes that have hit here Fort Myers, and out of those 50, roughly 15 to 20 of those were Cat 3 to a Cat 5. So there's definitely, you know, risk that you need to keep in mind wherever you're looking for homes here. Just have an open mind, look into those different things that come with that home, and then not only in that home, but when you're living here, like he said, you know, it's kind of a lifestyle. You learn to live with it, as far as, you know, maybe keeping certain things in stock, or if there's ever any sort of power outages, just kind of different tips to
like a generator, that kind of thing, pretty common.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, definitely something to keep in mind whenever moving here.
So if you're not from Southwest Florida or any hurricane prone part of the country, you're moving, let's say, from Washington State or someplace in the Midwest or someplace maybe in the Northeast that doesn't experience that kind of thing, but winter weather is a big thing. So you're coming here to hurricane country and you're looking at a house. How do you know if it's hurricane ready?
Right. You know, those are all things, good questions to ask. You know, does the house have impact windows? Does the house have hurricane shutters that you can put over the windows if they're not impact windows? You know, what year was the house built? Because, you know, codes change over the years that then affect, you know, how the builders build these homes, whether or not trusses are attached in a certain way to help with that. You know, it's
to keep the roof on.
Exactly. They've definitely made changes over the years. That's why, you know, when Florida gets hit with hurricanes, they don't get impacted as badly as some of the other states that aren't ready for it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's some serious construction practices that are code here in Florida compared to a lot of other places in the country that are, like you said, really badly impacted by hurricanes quite often. So it's something that you want to roll in with your research. If you've got your eye on a house, well, yeah, what year was it built? If it was built in the last few years, it's probably going to be very hurricane ready. But if it was built 40 or 50 years ago, obviously it's withstood some hurricanes over time, but it may not look today like it did 40 or 50 years ago because of those hurricanes. So those were insurance claims, those are repairs that you probably had to make, and it's a guarantee another hurricane is probably going to roll through and affect that house, maybe in the same way it's been affected in the past. So those are questions that you probably want to ask about that property to be sure that you're not going to get those costs. Or if you get into a home that isn't as hurricane ready right now, but you want to make it hurricane ready, like you said, impact glass, well, that's expensive. Hurricane shutters, not cheap, right?
Exactly. You know, there's definitely ways to then upgrade your home if it's a home you really want. It's in a location that might be closer to the beach, a little bit more prone to those hurricanes, you know, the higher winds. You know, a little bit of research definitely can go a long way whenever it comes to figuring out ways to try to, you know, save your big investment. You know, that's what buying a home is. It's a huge investment, and you want to sit here and make sure that you minimize that risk.
And then in addition to that too, not just with the winds, but flooding. Obviously, Florida sits very, very low. There's a lot of bodies of water. You got the Gulf of Mexico and the river, but inland, it doesn't stop. So there are bodies of water there that are attached to the river, attached to the ocean, and if those levels do rise during a storm surge, the levels of those more inland bodies of water, they're going to rise as well. So if your house is right there on that, is it going to be affected by it? Or what kind of rise is going to have to occur to affect your house? Other questions that you certainly need to research, and just about different areas as well, to make sure that it's something that's on your radar and you know what to expect.
We're sitting here talking about hurricanes. Another thing to think about whenever you come here is, with those hurricanes or the higher winds being here off the coast, is, you know, just something as simple as securing your belongings outside. You know, you have tropical storms and higher winds blow through, and that can affect your furniture outdoors, even something as simple as a play set. You know, you might be like, oh yeah, that play set is staked into the ground. Well, a lot of the communities here actually don't even allow you to have a hard top on your play set, just due to the risk that high winds can come through and rip that roof right off that play set and cause damage to other buildings.
Right, yeah, it just creates missiles and things to blow around.
Yeah, so
yep,
definitely something to have a plan for. You know, you got a lot of patio furniture or different things outdoors, whether or not you have a storage place inside or you just bungee cord them to something more secure. It's just something to look out for. And then, you know, going from there, your humidity as far as storage goes, that's something that I learned personally whenever moving here. Was it gets a lot more humid here compared to places up north. I came from the Midwest, so I never really had to think about, whenever I stored stuff, was, well, climate controlled or not climate controlled for a majority of my furniture.
Yeah.
Well, here in Florida, it's definitely something that you're going to want climate controlled, because, you know, that humidity gets into your storage unit with all your belongings. It's going to sit here and do damage. So with that climate controlled, you're talking higher costs for your storage unit. You're talking about the inconvenience compared to, you know, back home. Your uncontrolled storage units, you just pull the truck up or whatever it may be.
It's just a garage door, and there it is in your storage unit, right?
Yep,
yeah,
exactly. And so when I came here, that's one thing I did, was I stored my stuff back in the Midwest, and it was a lot more cost effective. I didn't have to worry about it, peace of mind. And then whenever it came to actually moving into my final home here in Florida, I then went back, loaded up the truck and everything, and went ahead and drove it down south.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I know I personally would never have thought about, the climate control. And if you're moving here, let's say you're building a house and you go ahead and move here temporarily, you live in a condo, apartment, or something like that until your home is built and you need a place to put your stuff. Like you said, that climate control thing it needs to be on your radar, because you need it in a climate controlled facility. And they're not all as convenient as just pulling the truck up, opening the garage door, and then boom, there it is. You have to go into a building. It might be on the third floor or second floor, your stuff. So that means moving it in and out of that building, off of that second floor. It is an added convenience on top of the extra expense.
Yep.
And the last one, biggest mistakes we see, especially for families with kids, obviously schools are a big deal. So if you're moving to Fort Myers, they have here school choice, right?
Right. So Lee County is a school choice county. A lot of different public schools and charter schools here. And school choice is, you know, may not be what you think. You don't get to pick the exact school that you want to go to. And it's not like some normal cities, where I say normal, but typical cities, where it's, hey, you're in this school district, this is the school that you're going to, and there's really no way around that unless you're sitting here going to private or charter schools. But here in Fort Myers and Lee County, school choice is basically, you have, you know, in your area, they divide Lee County up into three districts, And within those districts, you rank what schools you would like to go to. And then from there, they're gonna then go through everybody, kind of rate. Are you already sending kids to that school? So siblings and younger siblings and stuff going there. There's just multiple things that go into figuring out what school you will actually get chosen for. But something to, you know, keep in mind and look into the, when do I sit here and have the ability to pick these options? Can I do it way before moving there, or do I have to wait until I actually have a home there and then I go into these schools and figure out what school that my kids would actually be going to?
Right. And that school choice, like you said, it's not exactly just, I'm going to move here, I'm going to go to this school. There's a little more to it than that. It runs a little bit deeper. So you're ranking schools, there's a certain aspect to choosing that part, but it's not just, I'm going to choose this school, I'm going to go to this school, and that's it, period. It's a little more complicated than that and layered, and you certainly need to do your research with school choice and all the little nuances that are involved with that. So those are some of the mistakes that we've seen with people moving to Fort Myers or anywhere in Southwest Florida. Of course, there are other mistakes that people can make too, but the transition can also be very smooth. Lots and lots of people move to Southwest Florida in the Fort Myers area, and they do it successfully. But these are just some things that you want to make sure you keep on your radar. So until the next one, we'll see you later.
See you.